I've been a fan of this automation platform app, whatever you want to call it, called Relay.app. And they do a really good job in a lot of different things in terms of automation. And you can connect various apps together and do different things by basically creating workflows that allow you to automate a bunch of actions. And basically, you can make agents out of these workflows. It's not exactly like an agent, but you can create your own semi-agents, let's put it this way. But basically, it's automation workflow. You take apps, you put them together, you take data from one app and feed it into another app, and then you go through a bunch of steps to get something done. That's the basic idea behind it. If you look at their website, like right now I'm logged into the website, if you click on, let's see, apps on the left here, you see they have a list of these, all kinds of different apps there. The thing that they're missing, and no disrespect to Relay, they should have it in there, but they don't, is it doesn't tell you what these apps do. So if you know what, for example, DeepSeek is, or what Discord is, then great. But if you don't know what Document is, or what Drip is, which like in my case, I have no idea, you have to look it up. And of course, because they have this tremendous number of these apps available, we were talking about dozens and dozens, without having information to how to access it, you can't click on them, you don't see any information. You basically have to go and do something different. So I thought, great, it's an automation platform. Why don't I create something that will actually generate automation that will grab these things, put them in some sort of a list, and get the information using AI, basically get it done. The first thing is I thought, okay, I'm going to try their, in terms of workflow, they have a number of different things you can do. And one of the things I thought I could do is web scraping for this page. That didn't work. It told me that I can't do web scraping because actually it starts doing it, but what it does, it winds up scraping a page. You can see it's going to come up with something that looks like this. It just does not go to this specific URL to be able to scrape it. So that was the end of that idea. So I thought, okay, how about if I just grab the list from here and then do something with it in some kind of text editor or something like that. Okay, so I thought I'd just click and grab and drag and nothing. It doesn't, the way they got it set up, it doesn't treat it like text you can just select by just simply dragging the mouse like I just tried to do. So that's not a solution either. So I can't use their web scraping. I can't use this. And there's got to be a way to do this, right? There's got to be some way to do it. So then the next thing I thought, okay, obviously if I'm going to go ahead and print this thing, then maybe that way it'll work. But the challenge is when you do printing, if I select it, go to Chrome and select print, it's only showing me this one thing. It doesn't, in other words, it's not going to be printing, it's just going to be printing the screen. It's not going to be printing the entire page, which is a problem. So that's not going to work. So I thought, okay, there's got to be some way to make this work, right? So the next thing I did was I pulled up my trusty Snagit. They have a scrolling grab capability in Snagit, and I grabbed the whole long page. And let me see if I can show you what that looks like. So here's what it looks like when I grabbed it in Snagit using scrolling capability. Then I got this page that looks like this, as you can see. It's got all the stuff in there, everything from beginning to end. Beautiful, okay? If you actually zoom out, because this is way zoomed in, but if I zoom out to original size, it basically looks like this. That's the original size of this screen grab, if you will. So obviously that's useless. So I tried to then feed it into something that can do OCR on it. It said it was way too dinky, not going to work, not going to fly. So basically I kept coming up with all these roadblocks where I just couldn't make this work. So then the next thing I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to open it in PDFGear. I'm going to save it as a PDF file as opposed to a regular graphics file and see if PDF would work. And so then I opened it up in PDFGear, which is something I did the video before. And as you can see right here, there's this document PDFGear, which is a free PDF management app, which does a beautiful job, by the way, on many PDF-related tasks. And then I went into their feature called Chat. And the chat thing is pretty useful. Let me just move myself out of here. That you can actually talk to it, like you can talk, basically it's like Chat GPT built directly into this PDFGear. So we can actually chat with the document. We can ask questions about any PDF file. We can convert things. We can summarize. There's a lot of things you can do here, like you can do with any kind of AI, but it's built right into this PDF gear, which makes it super useful. So the first thing is, let's see if it comes up with a list. So we tell it to do it, and there is the whole list right there. Okay, so we got the list. Next thing I'm going to do is going to say, please augment the list to also include a description of what each app does. See if it does that. Because obviously having a list by itself is useless. We need to have the, okay, now we're getting somewhere with descriptions, exactly what I wanted. Okay, so it does that, and that's great. And then we're going to say, finally, can you please also add a URL for each app in the list? Let's see if it does that. So we're going one step at a time, because when I tried to do all of them, it didn't seem to work right. In other words, when I tried to combine multiple instructions, the same thing, it didn't work. Now we've got URLs, as you can see, and we've got no descriptions. Okay, so let's prompt it again. So the descriptions are missing. I'd like to see the app's name, then description of what it does, and then the URL in a alpha sort numbered list, please. See if it does it this way. Bingo. And now finally we prompted it enough to actually do what we need to do. Okay, so as you can see from this example here, that we went through a little machination here. I mean, it took a little bit of time to finally get it in the final form, but the bottom line is that it did create the list. We now have not just names of these apps, but we also have descriptions, like Zoom is a video conferencing communication platform, online form builder, and so on. So it's much easier to know what to do, potentially use in terms of Relay for automation when you know what these things do. And it tells you what they are, and of course then it's helpful to know that the URLs themselves will be there as well. Over here we can export from PDFGear the entire thing, so we can click save, and we'll call it, let's go to junk, and we'll call it, let's see, let's call it Relay apps descriptions. Okay, and so we have a little text file basically that gives us that. And now we can go and use this, and we can reference it. We can see exactly what these various services do. And like I said, since this one doesn't have URLs, but if we had the one with URLs, which is higher here, then we can also go to any of these URLs to actually see the more details about each service. But at least it gives you an idea of what you can do with Relay using this list. And I'm going to leave this list below the video there in the description. But it's one of these things that unfortunately is not perfect, because it did take a couple of steps to get to this point. It's not something you can just crank up and run and it'll do it. So there's a couple of little steps involved, including some human intervention, which I was hoping to avoid. That's one negative thing about this process. Second thing is that if they make any changes with some additional apps that they incorporate, then you would know it unless you ran this process again. But the idea was to create something automated so you can run it like on a monthly basis. And then after it runs every month, then you have this list that you can reference as a Google Doc or text file, whatever you want, wherever you want to see it. And you can just refer to it and see which apps you want to use and how you want to automate things like that. But until that time, until we have that capability in automated fashion, at least this is a workflow, if you will, of a process how you can use a variety of tools to create something. I mean, you can use it for other purposes too. But I just wanted the example to be the Relay.app to see how I got my list and it got the descriptions, got the URLs, and now I can work with it with a lot more knowledge and capabilities on my end. So I hope you find this useful. I certainly have. And until next time, I'm Oleg.